Hello folks, I am Caesar, lecturer in English from NRK Academy. Now I am going to teach a marvelous literary work of O. Henry. The name of the lesson is After 20 Years. This lesson marks maximal unexpectedness and a sudden twist at the end. As we all know, O. Henry is a master in bringing out a sudden twist at the climax, an unexpected twist at the climax. The lesson starts like this. Two friends, Bob and Jimmy, raised together as brothers in New York City. And Bob, as a man who is zealous to amass wealth and fortune, he went to the West to make his life, to get his pile. And Jimmy thought New York was the only place on earth which was very comfortable for him, where he could get maximum amount of success with Godspeed. And he became a police officer in one of the city departments. And before they had departed, they had separated in New York City. They had a dinner at Big Joe Brady restaurant, a famous restaurant in New York. After completing the dinner, they had promised each other that they would meet after 20 years, whatsoever they might be in future, regardless of their status or professional success, what and what not. Bob came from miles to make the appointment a successful one, and he successfully fulfilled his appointment. He stood at a iron store, let us call it a hardware store, in darkness, chilly gust of winds, a small amount of drizzle added in that. A patrolman was on his job and was pursuing his duty. He came and saw the person who was standing in the darkness. The person standing in the darkness lit his cigar with a matchstick. He saw the face, a pale, square-jawed face, a small scar on his right eyebrow, and a diamond oddly set on his collar. He identified the person, and this person by name Bob, who came from the West to fulfill the appointment, narrated the entire episode about the promise that was made, everything. And finally, the patrolling police said that it was quite a beautiful experience to listen to the entire episode before the appointment. It was very fine. Meanwhile, he stood over there and finally said, "Okay, I have to go on my beat." So he was a sincere patrol officer, who has a very bright figure, let us say, a strong, robust physique, that even a normal person can identify that, okay, he's a true custodian of law and order. He took permission, he took leave from Bob. He left the place after he has said good night. He stood over there and said, "I would wait here for 30 minutes more. If my friend Jimmy was alive, he would certainly come up and meet him." And there was no point for him to leave the place vaguely. He was standing on the street at the darkest corner, nearby a drugstore, nearby a hardware store. The entire street was de-peopled. This drizzle was becoming to an extent a strong, windy, gusty rain. Meanwhile, a tall person with a long overcoat came towards Bob. Both of them, to an extent, silence started ruling time. And this tall individual who came in an overcoat said, "Are you Mr. Bob? Are you Jimmy?" So they identified each other, and they clasped their hands, shook hands, and the newly introduced person by name Jimmy said, "Okay, I know of a place here So let us have a heartful talk, cordial talk. So we will have a long walk. Let us go, he said. Okay. This person who came from the West narrated his life, how he attained success, the hardships which he underwent, and the life that he was enjoying. Everything he started explaining to the person by name Jimmy, the just introduced individual. So they came to the street end. There was a fulgent light and a drugstore was located over there. Suddenly Bob saw the face of Jimmy first time. What all happened? That was only in darkness. Now we can clearly observe the appearance of light. In this lackluster light, glittering light, Bob saw the nose of Jimmy. He said, how come a person's nose from a Roman changed to a pug? It's impossible. You're not Jimmy. He bluntly said, you're not Jimmy. And he removed his hands from his hand. So he was, to an extent, in utter confusion. And this tall person in a long overcoat said, you have been under arrest for 10 minutes. We have an information that you are coming over to this place and the Chicago Police Department has been awaiting you. So here I have got a slip for you. And he handed over it. So he took it firmly. By the time he started reading it, his hand started shivering. The content goes like this. My dear friend, Bob, I have been at the appointed place on time. So by the time you lit your cigar, I saw your face. Then I understood that it is the face that has been in search by the Chicago Police Department. So I couldn't arrest you because you have come all the way to fulfill an appointment made 20 years ago. So instead of that, I have sent this individual to fulfill the responsibility on behalf of me. Regards, Jimmy. So this is a beautiful narrative with a sudden twist, and he continues ironic suspense and deftly managed storyline. So this is a very beautiful narrative story. Everybody enjoys it. Please go through this. You will certainly feel very much amazed at the narrative technique of O. Henry, the stalwart of English literature, a true master of writing novels, a towering personality with everlasting impact on literary masterpieces in English literature. Thank you.